is the vote going to pass this week? And if you think it will, where do we see sterling by Friday?
Okay, I think we're likely to pass this week. Certainly, judging by the numbers, previous voting arrangements, it does suggest he has the numbers to get it passed. So my best case is that we get a deal this week, passed in Parliament, and that I think sterling can continue rallying. I think a move towards 132, between 132 and 135 is absolutely doable. Anything thereafter will more or less be a reflection of dollar weakness, but I certainly think the short covering move we've seen can continue for a while.
Okay, so I imagine you'd be looking to put sterling longs on right now then. What about the 1 week volatility that's staying elevated? When does that start to come down, and when do you start shorting that vol?
So if you look at the UK vol curve, it's basically inverted at the moment, so the front end is a lot higher than the back end. And that's just a reflection of the high level of uncertainty and the price action you've seen in the last few days. My view really is that as soon as we get to 132, 133, that front end vol is going to collapse. And I think it should over time kind of trade in line with euro-dollar equivalents. So I think you're going to see effectively long sterling trade for a while and short vol very, very quickly afterwards. That's the trade. Okay,
so your trade is a long sterling, short vol. Your base case is the vote passes this week. But what happens beyond this week? Could we still get an election?
I think it's for sure they can. I mean, Boris Johnson is in office, but he's not in power.
Yeah.
So I think that the election is inevitable. My view is that we get it by the end of November, if not early December. And the thing is, if he goes to the people now with the deal he's got, he will walk back in, no question.
And you think that's the crucial difference here to before?
Yeah, I think this is the main point, that even if this week's machinations don't really work out, we get an extension, etc. He'll go to the people saying, look, I've got a deal, it's a reasonable deal, and I think on that basis, the crucial point, he's not going to be campaigning on no deal, which was the previous stance. So I think he'll walk back in.
I mean, Kit Jukes in his note this morning was talking about the fact that yes, sterling could get a lift, but ultimately then when the UK leaves the EU, the economic situation in the UK means that the gains for sterling are capped. Would you take that view as well, or do you see it move even higher in the medium term?
I can see his argument, but I think that the point really is that sterling is incredibly undervalued where we are. So certainly we can get back to 135, maybe 140 at a stretch. Thereafter, sure, once Brexit actually happens, we'll see we'll see the real effect on sterling. But remember, we've come down from levels of around 155 pre the referendum. We're not going to get back to pre-referendum levels anytime soon. Sure, we could do over the medium term, but I think that'll be a stretch.
What about euro sterling?
We'll probably continue to grind lower, in my view. Mainly as a reflection of sterling strength rather than euro weakness. Interestingly, if you look at the euro, it's definitely bounced against the dollar. I think we found at the lows, sub 110. We didn't really stay there for very long. We saw a lot of people getting involved in a long euro trade there, and I think that's going to continue.
So how much of a lift does euro dollar get from all this then, in the short and the medium term?
Well, we've gotten up 2 cents. We've got from 109 to 111. My own view is that we get back to levels around 116 by the end of 2020. Risks for me are on the upside of that cross.